Oh, my camera's falling. Okay. Guys. First off, hi. I feel like that scene in The Office where Michael Scott is like, this is the worst. Guys. First of all, hi. Welcome back. Today's video, I was just scrolling on TikTok for like the past, I would say maybe hour. And the past like hour, I've just been scrolling on TikTok and I just kept seeing on my For You page everything about what's gonna happen. Oh God, Lord. I can't help but to laugh because y'all, what we gonna do? Oh my gosh. Let me get to the point of the video, because this is just hilarious. So this week, I was intending on filming a vlog of my week. Just randomly, I just wanted to film a vlog about my week. And I was gonna make it a video of like a week in my life working as a TA in a special needs school. And I kept trying to film clips, wasn't working. Also, this week was just god awful. This week was so bad for so many reasons that I like actually can't explain, because I don't want to be unprofessional, because Monday and Tuesday at my job were just awful. Awful. Like Tuesday was so bad I almost left early, because like usually I get up at 4:30 on Tuesdays because the last hour we have meetings. I almost went home after the kids left. Like my day was so bad on Tuesday and I was at my breaking point, and then somebody did something that really just set me over the edge. And I was like, after I dropped this kid off on the bus, I need to go on a walk to get coffee, because if I don't go on this walk to cool myself down, I'm gonna go back upstairs, get my stuff, and go home, because I've had it. That's how my Tuesday was. Monday, the end of the day, because of daylight savings affects autistic kids a lot, because if they have internal clocks, they can't process and understand that the time went back an hour. So if they have set schedules and everything's back an hour, they're not able to understand that the time is different, so they're going to be having a hard time. And we were sent an email from our assistant director being like, oh, reminder, this today might be a little bit harder for our kids, so just keep that in mind and try to be more patient with the kids. And this is just like a tangent, but like there's like weeks where like it just feels like there is just something in the air for all the kids. And when I mean all the kids, I mean all the kids. Like it's like a school thing for all the kids to just go buck crazy. I'm talking about crisis after crisis. Like the kids that usually are like the calm one, they're going, like when I tell you every day, like, oh my gosh, like it just feels like there's something in the air that the kids smelled, or like they had a secret meeting and was like, okay guys, today's a day we're all gonna just go crazy for fun, and then like have the teachers like scrimmage and like go crazy and like literally have a mental breakdown. That was this week. That was mainly Monday and Tuesday, and so Monday and Tuesday, I didn't even get to really film clips of my day, because in the mornings, I'm very quiet, because I wake up, first of all, I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. And that's a problem, because people with ADHD usually have like a later, they have a later like internal clock where they thrive better waking up later in the day. Like my dream time to be up is 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. like waking up at 11 a.m. and going to bed at 2 a.m. Whenever I do not have work and I'm like on vacations or like have days off, I naturally wake up at 11 a.m. and I thrive. I wake up well rested. I wake up a little bit happier. I'm more enjoyable of the morning and existing. When I wake up any earlier than 11 a.m., if it's 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., I'm like, all right. And if I intended to wake up earlier, like at 7 or 8, that's fine. Waking me up at 5 or 6 in the morning, I am waking up like a gremlin looking like, why am I up? I, I, I'm not going to get into it any further. So every day when I wake up, I'm like, okay, I have to wake up because I have to get ready for work. I have to go. That's a whole other thing. So usually that's why my clips for the morning wasn't that great. Whatever. So that's why I wasn't really filming. So Monday was just a hard day because I can't go into details about my class specifically because I don't want to lose my job. Also, I feel like I don't want to lose my job. That's been plain and simple because I don't know what I can and can't talk about, so I just won't talk about it. But Monday was a hard day for my class. That's what I will say. Tuesday, it was another hard day for my class. I can't go into details about it. And there was a lot of work stuff that was going on for me. And Tuesday, I was at my breaking point. So I was really upset. Then Wednesday happened. And then on top of that, Tuesday was election day, right? So that I had a really bad day at work. Rough, hard, terrible day. Then I had to go home to then vote. So I go home, I rest for a little bit, wait for my parents to come home, we go to vote together. Cool, we go home. I couldn't even look at the TikTok lives of people looking at the elections and people looking at I couldn't look at it because I actually felt anxiety looking at it. So I was like, I refuse. So I'm just not going to look at it. And I went to bed. Woke up Wednesday, came to work. I had no idea who won. And I was like, I'm going to find out at some point. So I didn't even bother to try to check. And it took me a minute to process who won. And when I sit here and tell, so as we all know, Donald J. Trump has won our election and he will be in office next year. And when I processed that, because one of my coworkers came up to me and was talking about how I'm not gonna take life seriously anymore because our country's a joke, life's a joke. What's the point of taking things seriously? What's the point of caring? Because our country's a joke at this point. I wasn't understanding anything that she was saying. I was like, what's going on? What are you talking about, girl? I just came inside and you just came up to me and said all this stuff. I'm like, huh? And then another one of my coworkers was talking about it, and then I was starting to process it, delayed processing right now. So I was like, I'm not understanding fully what's happening. And then the brain was starting to work and the brain cells were starting to connect, and I was like, oh. So then I asked my coworker, I was like, wait, so he won? And she was like, yeah. I was like, oh. So clearly you can tell that I did not vote for this man. I voted for Kamala Harris because I wanted people to have rights and not have their lives at risk and to not, I thought, anyway, so I voted blue, and the blue, we did not win. Blue did not win. And my first thought was, obviously, the concept of Project 25, because it is very much a real thing, very much something that the Republican Party wants to implement, and it's something that's really scary. And I remember even before the election debates were starting, I was hearing people talk about Project 2025, and I read about it, and I was like, wow, this is actually terrible. This is very dangerous, very harmful, and this is scary. And I was like, wow, I'm not going to read about it anymore because this will literally put me in a mental spiral, and I cannot handle that right now. But I was educated enough to know that this was not good for us, and we need to not vote red, vote blue. I've never voted red my entire life. I voted how many times have I voted? I think it was my third time voting. I'm shaking, I think, talking about this now. I've always voted blue because the Democratic Party is not perfect. There are very much things that the Democratic Party has done that's been disappointing. like when Joe Biden supported the genocide in Gaza, something that shouldn't have been done, very disgusting thing, and I'm still appalled by that behavior. Um, but at the end of the day, when it came to voting for whether or not people that I love and care about, and also myself as an individual, would have rights, I was like, at the end of the day, as much as the Democratic Party has done things that are very disappointing, at least my rights won't be taken, and my life and my friends and people that I care about, and just other people in general, lives won't be at risk and at danger. That at the end of the day, like, that was the main thing, for people to be able to exist and not be scared of existing. And when people say to vote for blue, um, they weren't saying it to vote for blue just because they want you to agree with their opinions. They like, vote for blue because red risks lives, blue doesn't. And it's just like, oh my gosh. I was under the impression that people were like aware of this. They understood this concept and they were like understanding of it. Like, people were getting that, like, this, like, lives are at stake and we should vote blue so that way lives won't be at stake. And I remember my first time ever voting was when it was Joe Biden against Donald Trump. I was like, we cannot have another 4 years of this man. Absolutely not. I remember I was a junior in college, and that was my first time voting. And when Joe Biden won, the instant relief. Mind you, this is during COVID too. I'm on campus, and the voting happened, and he won, and like, the relief that we all felt when he won, I was like, oh my gosh, we can breathe, a breath of fresh air. And I was just so happy. And I was really praying. And also, people, we were under the impression that like Kamala had it, that like everyone was educated and aware and was seeing how just like insanely evil this man and the people that he wants to be in his cabinet are, and that you cannot be a sane human being and vote for someone like that. And we was like, yeah, people are getting educated, people are being aware, and people that voted for him in the past was like, we will never vote for him again, this is absolutely crazy, like, oh my gosh, he's like actually really bad. We thought that they learned their lessons and we're like, okay, got this in the bag. Had to breathe. And then he won. And we were all like, oh. And I was like, I remember when I was in high school, 2016, when he first won the election. And I will never forget that day because I was a senior in high school. So like, I like wasn't old enough to vote yet. I'm like, if the election was like next year, I could have voted, but like, I wanted to vote. I don't know who was running against him. I'm forgetting. But whoever was trying to vote for him, was trying to run against him democratically, I was like, please, like, if I could vote, I would vote Democrat, obviously, so that way he wouldn't be in office, because he seemed like a horrible human being. And then he won. And next day, I remember in high school, that was a day where like, when I tell you, every single classroom I went into, no one, like, it was just a very like, hey guys, so we all know what happened yesterday, and this is an open space. Like, I don't think we learned anything that day. I think that was a day where everyone just like was like, hey, mental health day, let's choose peace, let's hug each other, give each other love and care, because the next 4 years are going to be, we don't even know what's going to happen. And I've never seen the school on a collective that, like, we were all in agreement that this was not good. I've never seen the school such in a community on a decision before in my entire 4 years of being in that school until that day. And it was just like, I was happy that like everyone was like able to like give each other support. And I remember that day being so awful and bad. And it was just crazy. And then his presidency was just so bad, and by the grace of God, like, I don't know. I felt like I don't know. I just his presidency was, it was horrible. Seeing people, like, I remember some people were like, I have friends that were scared for their families because they were scared that one day they would go home and their parents wouldn't be home because they got deported. And at least like one or two of my friends said that to me. And I was just like, I felt so bad for them. And I wanted to cry with them because I could not imagine being like a 17-year-old and being scared that I'm going to go home and my parents are gone. Like, yeah, my family, like, we're not immigrants because we were brought to this country through slavery. Many our ancestors were brought here from slavery, and now we're here. Um, and that's why we're citizens of this country. But you know, like, to go into the concept of being a black person and a black woman, I will get into that a little bit later. But black people are not liked anywhere. I have the biased opinion that black people are the most hated race in the world, because no one likes us at all. And yeah, I just remember feeling that way. I just felt bad because it was like he had a lot of laws and rules and regulations against immigrants. And I just was like, I don't have that fear of being scared that my parents won't come home because they got deported. But then when the Black Lives Matter movement happened, because of all the police brutality against black people, especially black men, that was the first time I felt that fear of like, oh my goodness, one day, what if there's a day when my dad doesn't come home because he got shot by a cop? And that was a terrible feeling. And by the grace of God, that never happened. My family was protected, and it was just, my family was protected in the sense that none of my family got harmed during this horrible act of terrorism against black people. But that doesn't mean that I didn't feel the fear of like, oh my gosh, like what if? Because it wasn't happening. It was happening primarily to black men. But it was also happening to black women, and it was more quiet when it happened to black women. Like, it happened to a lot more black women than we were aware of, and it was just a nightmare. And I just was like, in those moments where that was happening, I just felt so much fear for my own community, and it was just like, when is it gonna stop? When will black people be able to just breathe and live and exist like everyone else can? Then it happened with the Asian, the when Asians were getting a lot of hate, all the women were getting punched in the face just for literally exit, and that was another just time of like Asians just getting hate just because they're Asians, and it was disgusting and sickening. And I have a best friend, and she's half Asian, and I was just like, hey girl, like, I'm so sorry this is happening to your people, and like, I'm here for you. If you ever want to talk to me about anything, like, I'm here for you. I'm supporting you. I'm your ally, obviously. Like, I love you, and I'm so sorry this is happening to your people. Like, this is disgusting and annoying. And it was just seeing hate happen because of people's ethnicities and race. And even when it happens to the LGBTQ plus community, trans people being killed just because they're trans, and it's just like, it's just disgusting when people are being attacked just because they exist, and people don't like that they exist. They did nothing to them, but just because they simply exist, that's a problem for some people. And I just find it disgusting. And I'm just sick of seeing all the hate that the world has for other people for simply existing. And this man glorified that, emphasized that, and made people feel proud of being hateful. And people are under the impression that voting for that man was the right decision because of he can make our country a better place, and whatever their reasoning was. So Wednesday, when I found out he was elected again, I was at work, and this was the day after I had a very bad day at work the day before, and I'm trying to like do my job, but then I'm like on my lunch break texting like one of my best friends about the election, and I was just so upset. Like, I couldn't even eat my lunch. Like, I had like a slice of pizza, and I love pizza. I didn't even finish my slice of pizza because I was too busy texting her about how upset we both were about this election and about how crazy everything is. And I was just like, oh my God, this is just sickening and disgusting. I can't believe this is happening to I can't believe this is our world. I can't believe this is our country. I can't believe this is happening. Um So I was just like very upset about it. And then I went home, had an okay day. And then so this election happening, I've had one time where when Trump was running again, and I was like, when it was Trump versus Joe Biden, and I was like, absolutely, we can't have this man run again another 4 years. We gotta vote blue. And I remember posting that on like a Snapchat one day, like when I was in college, and there was like a time where like TikTok was like, that's when like TikTok was like first like really becoming popular in the sense where like everyone was on it all the time because of 2020 and COVID. And I was in a Christian group chat. Like there was like this girl that posted TikTok. I was like, oh, like if you're a Christian and you want Christian friends, like say your Snapchat so you can have a group. And then I put my Snapchat on there, and then one day I randomly was put in a group on Snapchat with like a bunch of like Christians, and we were all like around between the age like 16 and like 25 or whatever, like teenagers to early 20s. And then I remember like this one guy, like we were in this group chat, but then this guy individually messaged me on Snapchat. I'm guessing to be my friend, or I don't know. I don't know what his intentions were. But I was like, okay, like, like I'm just like trying to like mingle with like other Christians because it's nice to have Christian friends. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then I remember I made my post about like, okay, let's vote blue because we can't have Trump again. And then he was like, he replied to my story and was like, oh, but like, why do we have to vote for him? Like, what's the reason? And I was just like, what do you mean why? Because so we won't have another 4 years of this chaotic mess. Like, what do you mean, bestie babes? Hi, what are you talking about? And then I was very well aware that that man didn't even have to say that he would vote for Trump, but like you can clearly tell when he's questioning why I say vote for Joe, that means he wasn't voting for Joe. He was voting for Biden. He was voting for Trump, and he was like, you shouldn't be voting for Biden. You should vote for Trump. And I'm like, So we had this conversation, and it was a very short-lived conversation, and I thought it was the funniest conversation I've ever had because this is my first time having a conversation with a Trump supporter. I was like, wow, this is actually very hilarious and funny. You are so ignorant and like also like ignorant and sensitive and just very intriguing. I would like to also add, this man was not white. This man was a minority. This man was Latino. Sir. One of the things that he said that like I knew he was far gone was when he tried to say that white privilege is such a 1970s thing. That was the only flag I needed to see to know that this man, he's not worth my time. He's not worth the conversation. And at that point, I just had to laugh. I just had to laugh because wow. Because wow. So Wednesday, I'm going home. And I'm like, I've only had one interaction with a Trump supporter, and it was like the funniest conversation I ended up having. And I was like, this is actually really funny and comical. And while and then on Wednesday, so this is what I'm saying. Wednesday, he wins. I'm upset about it. I tell my friends about it. We talk about it at work. We're like, this is crazy. We can't believe this is the world we're living now. And then I'm saying to myself, I've only had one interaction with Trump support before. This is actually kind of crazy. I'm seeing on social media when people are like, I see like two people make comments like, oh, like it doesn't matter who you voted for. Like at the end of the day, you voted for who you voted for. That's your opinion. At least you used your voice. One of the people that said that I unfollowed because I was like, no, like I'm sorry, I don't agree with that at all because this is like the politic, like it. No. Respectfully, I don't agree with that, and I unfollowed them. It was like an acquaintance, like that a person I knew from like I think like elementary school, something like a person I don't really talk to. So I was like, I don't agree with that. Also, like sometimes your posts are weird to me anyway, so I'm gonna just unfollow you. The other person that made that post, I didn't unfollow them. I was debating it, but I was like, whatever. I don't care enough to like go out of my way to unfollow you. But I was just like, whatever. But then, so that happened. But then everyone else is like, oh, like when they have the quotation, don't let politics ruin your friendships. No, let them ruin them because this and that. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree with those posts more. Little did I know Little did I know would I be in a position where I had to talk to another Trump supporter, and it ruined the friendship. I've never had that happen, but I've never had politics ruin a friendship before in my entire life. Now, granted, this is I've only been an adult. When I mean adult, I mean ever since the age of 18. I've only been an adult for 7 years. So, in my 7 years of being an adult, this is my first time having politics actually affect me in a way where I'm aware of how they affect other people, and it affects my livelihood and stuff like that. And me talking about politics with my friends, because now we're getting older, we're becoming more educated, and we are aware of how bad politics can be, and it's not. So I've never really had politics talk with my friends, but then whenever we had them, we were all when I tell you that I have such liberal friends, my friends are just liberals because that's who I surround it's not who I'm you have to be I'm not saying you have to be liberal to be my friend, but it just so happens that all the friends I picked, they ended up being liberal and have liberal opinions. So I'm like, okay, Slay, so we all agree. So we all, and also because I have I have minority friends. I legit have one white friend, and everyone else is a minority. One of my best friends is half white and half Asian, but she's still a minority because she's Asian. So majority, my friends are minority. So we all get that the Liberal Party is the best party for us because the Liberal Party is the one party that doesn't want us to die. So we're like, okay, liberal slay. And then Wednesday I had to have a conversation with my friend about them voting for Trump, and I was like, oh. Mind you, this is after I post on my Instagram story that I'm I am disgusted by our country. I cannot believe that we voted for this man. I cannot believe this man won again. And now the next 4 years, the rest of my 20s, he will be in office. The first stage of me being an adult, he was in office. And now me ending my 20s, he will be in office. The next time he will be out of office is when I will be 29. I already thought of Schmidt when he's 29. I can't. Anyway, regardless, I had to have this conversation. So on my Instagram story, I made a post saying how disgusted I am that he won. And I literally was in the post, I was like, to all the people of color that voted for him, I don't have anything to say to you. I have no words to express how disappointed, disgusted, and just jaw dropped that you voted for this man. And when I remind you, the one time I had an interaction with a Trump supporter, the man was Latino, right? A minority, right? And most of my friends are minorities. No, all of my friends are minorities. I have one white friend. And I have other white friends that are acquaintances, but friends, all of them are minorities. I have one white friend, and everyone else is minority. So when I'm having a conversation with my friend about how they voted for Trump, they're a minority, right? So when I made the Instagram story saying how disgusted I am about this country having this man for being a president for the next 4 years. This person saw my Instagram story. They saw me say that. They saw my opinions about the election. And then when I text them being like, yo, America took a big L. Big L. It's giving the Yankees losing the World Series, but worse, New York took 2 L's. First, the Yankees losing. First, let's just that just sucks. I'm like, damn, we almost won. And then they flopped and lost. Oh, sad. 1 L. The first L we already took. Yankees took an L when they lost. And then, mind you, New York was blue. But New York was blue. And then the blue didn't matter because he still won. And then I was like, wow, we took another 2 L's. 2 L's back to back in the month of November. The Yankees losing, and now Trump being our president for the next 4 years. Sad day. And then they were like, oh yeah, I voted for Trump because of XYZ. And I was like, I wanted to respond, you're joking, right? You're joking. And then I was just like, oh, I did not reply, you're joking. I don't remember what I replied. I will admit, this conversation, I was already upset about this election and everything that happened. And then they told me that they voted for Trump, and then I let them have it. I was so pissed off. I was so upset. And yeah, I was not happy. And I was going off on them. Bombs and all. Bombs were thrown. I was not. I was trying to remember that I was a Christian, that I'm a Christian, and I should not be saying the certain, I'm gonna be bold, and I'm gonna be real hot, open, and transparent. I was cursing this man out. I was, because I was just so upset. I was so mad, and I was angry all day. I was trying to keep my composure all day, at work, on my break, at home. I was like, I cannot believe this man won. And then I found out that someone that I'm supposed to call my friend voted for this man, and they were in a swing state. Swing states are the states where it can go either way, and we were really praying they would be blue, and they turned red, and he contributed to that. And I just couldn't. That was my breaking point, and I just was like, I can't. So we argued. It was more me. Like, I don't know if they were arguing with me back, but I was arguing. I was livid. I was so upset. And we're having this conversation, and that was the first time I ever had a conversation with a friend about politics. And I just, as the conversation was just going on, mind you, I'm having this conversation and I'm like straightening my hair. I just washed my hair because I was like, I hadn't washed my hair before then for like past like 6 weeks because I had no time to wash my hair. Finally washed my hair. I blow dried it, and I'm like straightening it, having an argument about this man voting for Trump, and I'm just like, I don't have the time for this. So the conversation's happening, and then comes to conclusion like later. I'm just like, this conversation is going nowhere. I'm all that's happening is that I'm getting more upset, and I'm like I'm getting more upset. I'm like I just felt nothing but rage in that moment. And like the next few hours of me just texting, I was just like, I cannot believe that you voted for this man. Like, are you stupid? Are you dumb? You're an effing idiot. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was just like losing my mind. Like, losing my mind. I was so upset. And I was just like, I said some things like, oh, he hates women, especially black women. And I just, conversation ended, and I could not look at them the same. And I never would have expected myself to be in a position where I would have to let politics get in the way of a friendship. But it wasn't even about like, oh, because we have different opinions about things. It's not that. And I think that's something that a lot of like Trump supporters that like aren't like openly racist, or don't say racist things, or like don't agree with his racist opinions, but think that like he's doing things, like they're like, a lot of people for some reason they were like, oh, that the economy will be better because he's going to be in office now, because the policies he has will make the economy better. When this man was in office, the economy was shot. And whenever it was good, it wasn't because of him, it was because of the previous president. So like, everything that this man wanted to do was making our economy worse. Also, let's be so for real. This man was in trouble for not paying his taxes. How is a man that don't want to pay his taxes going to fix our economy? Let's be so for real. Let's use our critical thinking skills for 1 second. And because like, how does a man that doesn't pay his taxes, that got in trouble with the IRS, and wasn't he like this man would not pay taxes, how is he going to fix our economy when he can't even fix his own? This man filed for bankruptcy 6 different times. How is he going to fix our economy when he can't fix his own wallet? Be so for real. Like, let me calm down for 2 seconds before I get riled up again. So yes, a lot of people were saying that like he would fix the economy, and I just saw so many people just being like, the economy will be shot even worse. He wants to cut taxes on the filthy rich and increase taxes on the lower and middle class. The only people that will benefit from his laws, economy-wise, are the filthy white rich men. And that nothing was clicking. Because when you tell that to them, they truly do not agree with it, or are in disbelief, or are just like, that's not right. Okay, that's fine. But then the reason why, and I've seen several people make this statement about like the reason why people that voted blue are like disgusted with red voters at this point, because it's one thing in the past when like Republican Democrats, like you can say someone's a Republican and be like, that's a bit weird, but like, you know what, you have your opinions, at the end of the day, that's on you. Now it's not that way anymore. It's you vote for a Republican, you hate people. You hate people that aren't white rich men. And when you say that, they don't it's not clicking in their head that like that's what they're doing, because they're under the belief that that's not what it is, or they're aware of how he is as a human being, but they're like, yeah, but there's other things that like I do think he would help with, and I think that matters more. When you see that human rights aren't enough to vote for someone that will maintain them, when you're saying that someone's rights isn't important enough for you to care about them, that's what people are upset about. That's what people that voted blue are upset about. Because people want to sit there and say, oh, Kamala wasn't even that great because she did this and she did that and da 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 da. And we're all like, yeah, we know. We barely liked her anyway. To be quite frank, we barely liked her. But like compared to him, because this man, 34 felonies, 2 convicted felonies, a sexual assaulter. This man assaulted multiple women. Multiple women came up and was like, yeah, he assaulted me. This man, outwardly racist, outwardly misogynistic, outwardly homophobic, transphobic, outwardly hating people for existing as they are. And that wasn't enough for you to say no. You see how he is. And then some people try to say he's not that way because he has support for minorities and he doesn't actually hate women. I said, one of the things that I said in this conversation was that like he hates women. Their argument was, no, they don't. No, he doesn't, because he let the states determine whether or not like abortion is a right that people get to have. And I'm gonna say this right now: if you're gonna sit here and try to clock me for saying that abortion should be a right that everyone should have because I'm a Christian, respectfully, shut your mouth. 1. 2, the reason why I am pro-choice is because I think that people should have the right to choose. If I don't want to get an abortion because of my religious beliefs, I have the right to say that. I don't have the right to tell other people what to do with their body, because they should have the right to do what they want to do with their body. If I don't want to get an abortion, that's my business. I'm not here telling my friend that they shouldn't get an abortion. I can sit here and be like, oh, like, whatever. The point is, pro-choice because I have the right to choose whether or not to or to not get one. So should everyone else. That's the point. And also, I was well aware that when they overturned Roe v. Wade, it was not about abortion. It was not about religion. It was about controlling women's bodies. And people don't understand that. Because it's kind of like everyone that saw the overturning were understanding that it was to control women's bodies. And people were saying no because it's murder, it's this, it's that, da da da. You imbeciles, you actual genuine idiots. This is not because they love God. This is because they hate women. They want to control women's bodies. They want to be able to say what they can and can't do with their bodies. This is deeper than whether or not someone should have a child. It's not that. It's not about life. Because the same people that do not want women to get abortions are the same people that do not want gun control rights to happen, so that way kids cannot die in school shootings. Because the same people that claim to care about the life of a baby, of an infant in a woman's womb, do not care about that kid once they come out of that woman's body and are in a school, and a school shooter is out to get them. They no longer care about them. They will sit there and say, people shoot, not guns. The people are pulling the triggers, not the guns. We shouldn't control the guns because that will give us less money. Because we care more about making money than saving children's lives. Those same pro-lifers are the same people that do not care when a kid gets shot, unless it's their own. So when we say it's not about the lives, it's about the control, that's what we mean. Because those same people that are like, oh yeah, no abortion, they're also like, guns, I have the right to bear my arms, and I have the right to use whatever I want. Ah! And it's just like, y'all don't, what's not clicking? What's not clicking? I know y'all only have 2 brain cells left, but come on, use the 2, please. Connect them, please. And also, I also made a comment saying how this man hates black women. And this man had the audacity to try to tell me I was wrong. So that was another thing. And I've been seeing a lot of black women just basically see this election and see that the world does not care about us. We have to just step back and just vibe and just care about ourselves. Take care of ourselves because the world won't do it. The world won't do it. The world won't do it. They won't care. They won't care because I seen a lot of people say that the most like marginalized like community is a black woman, because when I tell you, I have the biased opinion that everyone hates black people. Then to be a woman, to be black is one thing. To be a woman is another thing. But to be both, God help you. You got to be a Christian at that point, because you're going to need the Lord on your side for that one, because the world hates black women. The world hates black women. The worst thing to be is a black woman because they hate us all. Oh my goodness. And I've been seeing so many women say that, how this country does not care about us. This country does not like us. Like, because the amount of hatred, even before the election, even before this happened, just in general, the amount of hatred that black women receive, especially, I'm pissed, especially from black men. Y'all piss me off. Y'all piss me off when y'all hate women. Y'all piss me off so much because y'all will sit here and just berate black women and say so many disgusting things about black women. Like, just go to therapy and talk about your mommy issues. Please, please go talk to the therapist about your mommy issues and call it a day. I'm sick and tired of black men just being so deranged and abusive towards black women because of their mommy issues. Get a therapist and get some help and figure it out and stop hating on us for no reason. Oh my gosh, because the amount of times I've seen black men be so disgusting about the way how they would never date a black woman, and how they find black women ghetto and disgusting and ignorant and stupid and blah blah. Oh, that's so upsetting and insane. And then it's just like I'm just like this election win, I was just like, I'm tired. And then at the end of this conversation, I had this conversation with that friend. Thursday, I didn't talk to them. And I was like, I can't talk about this anymore because this is getting us nowhere. It's not helping me. It's making me more upset. My mental health is declining with this conversation. I am fuming. I am not happy right now. I need to end this conversation. Then they want to text me at the end. We still cool though? Also, my foot's asleep because I was sitting on it this whole time. Anyway, let's see. This is what I get for punching my phone and making it fall into an abyss. Okay, now oh man, guys. Anyway, so yeah, so I didn't text him the next day, and then Friday I was on my phone scrolling on TikTok, and TikTok used to be, my For You page used to make me laugh and giggle and smile, And no one's laughing, no one's giggling, no one's smiling because we're all like, guys, we're screwed. We're kind of screwed here, guys. Guys, hey, enjoy these last few days because next year and the next 4 years, we're screwed. This is survival mode. And someone made a meme and was like, this is what Katniss must have felt like when she realized she had to go in the Hunger Games a second time. I was like, yo, yes. This is because I remember, like I said, in high school when we found out that he won and no one was happy that day. I'm like, I never would have thought that I would feel that feeling again of just disbelief that like our country has failed us and has made that man president another time. And then the only positive thing about it, I was like, me and my friend were like, at least he could never run again. But then it's just like, I'm not even gonna get into the what ifs because that's anxiety driven and I rebuke that. But I remember when I was before I had this conversation with the person, I was just asking God a lot of questions because I was like, why? Why did this happen? Would the world have been worse if she won? Like, would someone have like, you know, like did something to her or like why? Like, would the world have been like, was something gonna happen to our country if she won? Like, why? Is this a punishment? Is this, are we supposed to be seeing the error of our ways? Like, why? I was asking him that a lot on Wednesday. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, why? Why is this happening? And I was also praying so hard because there are, when I was talking about Project 25, which also the person didn't read anything about it when we were having this conversation. So I was like, oh, so you voted for a man that has a plan that you didn't read about. Cool. Whatever. So then they tried to ask me, are we still cool? Friday I was watching TikToks, no one's happy, everyone's just like talking about the election, how bad things are gonna be. And I could not stomach being friends with someone that would vote for someone like that. Because during a conversation, I was upset. I was upset and I was lashing out on them because I couldn't believe that they were aware of all the bad things this man has done, and that wasn't enough to say no. And I feel like the main thing was that a lot of women are like emphasizing how unsafe they feel when this man is in presidency. One, the people that were in his cabinet the first time he was a president were all being like, hey, don't put him in office. Don't give him power. He's actually very dangerous when he's in that White House. He's like his former vice president said he wanted us to put him before the Constitution. This man wants you to idolize him, which you're Christian. God says don't. Idolatry is a big no. So whatever. Whatever. And then yeah, everyone was just like, don't put him in office because someone said, I forgot who was it, that, but they were like, the worst thing this country could do is put that man in office. He is the biggest threat to our country right now. And this man's in office again. And then in one of his rallies, he said he would never abuse his power except for on the first day. This man is also friends with dictators. And a lot of people are trying to defend him and say that he's not that bad. He's actually a nice guy. Even if he was a nice guy, the people that he is putting in the cabinet and selecting to make choices, to make laws and affect people's daily lives are that bad, if not worse. So if you associate yourself with people like that, then you are like that, either directly or you agree and you are okay with people being like that, because you wouldn't be friends with people that you do not agree with. So therefore, even though he's not like that, he is like that because he associates himself with people that are like that. The people that follow him and that love him are like that. And the reason why they feel this courage to emphasize how disgusting they are as human beings is because they see him do it and they're like, yeah, someone agrees with me. Yeah, I feel this way too. Yeah, now I can be proud of how all the evilness I have inside of me for other people. I can express it now because now I won't get shamed for being evil. This man endorses hatred, division, and everything that's terrible in this world. He endorses it. He loves it. He promotes it. And you guys have seen it. And you sit there and say, well, actually, that's not what he did. But actually, he did do that. He did. And he will do it again. 12 times worse. He is going for people that were born in this country. Like, if you were born on American soil, that means you are a citizen. He now wants to, like, challenge that and be like, actually, no, I don't want you to be a citizen. Let's question that. And then this way I can deport you. Now they're going to try to go for interracial marriages. And you know they're going to go for gay rights. So, abortion will not be a thing. And there have been people dying because of this. Not because they can't get an abortion before they get pregnant, but also a lot of people don't understand that, like, there are emergency surgeries that women that are already pregnant that do want to give birth to a child have to get, and it's labeled as an abortion. Like, they're like life-saving procedures that women would have to get when they have critical, like, they're like in like life or death mode of their pregnancy, and they have to get a surgery in order to save their lives or their child's lives, and they can't get those surgeries when they're in red states because they're like, oh no, we can't approve of this because I'll lose my license, or I'll lose my license, or I'll go to jail, or we'll both go to jail. There have been like thousands of women have died already because of this, and now that will continue in red states. And even if you try to move to go to a blue state to get a procedure that will save your life, you can get arrested for that and go to jail. Also, if you get a miscarriage, they might question that as an abortion and put you in jail. Like, and you're thinking, that's not true. Yes, it is true. Go look it up. Go read the book. And also, let's talk about books. The book banning, actually crazy. They want to ban so many books, and you know the books they want to ban? They want to ban the books that make you question the government. So, and then on top of that, even before the elections and the debates were starting, red states were starting to question whether or not you should teach about slavery, teach about why racism is bad, like racism theory, and educate people on why you shouldn't be racist. They wanted people to stop teaching that, and now that will be implemented in education. So now people will no longer learn about slavery and the foundations of this country, how bad they were. On top of that, if you try to educate people on things that happened in the past and why you shouldn't be a racist idiot in the future, you can lose your license and possibly get arrested depending on how bad your state is. And then in this conversation I had with this person, they also tried to say that, that like he doesn't hate women because the Roe v. Wade, when it got overturned, he had to where the states get to decide whether or not women can have rights. So therefore, he doesn't hate women. The whole reason why the court case happened in the first place was so that way it doesn't matter what the state says, women should have that right regardless. Because usually with Supreme Courts, the reason why it's a Supreme Court issue is because people want to fight for those that are in countries that do not want them to have rights, that do not want them to exist. Extreme conservatism in those, and minorities in extreme conservative environments where they are not safe. It was for those people. If you live in the blue state, you are safe, but then be careful because one wrong move and they might switch too. But it was for the people that were in conservative states and that do not have the privilege to just move to a blue state. It was for those people. Therefore, now those people no longer have the rights that they used to have and now have to fight for their lives. It was for those people. Like, I'm, by the grace of God, live in New York. It's a blue state. It's been a blue state for a very long time. However, I saw someone do like a deeper dive on the electoral thing and voting. Upstate New York ain't that blue. It's actually really red. It's actually really scary. And the only places that are really blue and upstate are colleges. And that's because people from the city go to these colleges and vote blue. So, like, New York is blue, but, like, we on a tightrope with that, too. Because One wrong move and we in trouble too. So we we safe for now, but like even in New York, I mean police brutality was happening a lot in New York too, and we blew, so like, you know, that's a whole thing. But like, yeah, scary times. Scary times. Um yeah, I haven't seen, like, the internet is very much like, yo, guys, this is not good. And another thing, the DOE. One of the main things that I kept focusing on was the DOE. This man wants to abolish the DOE. He wants to get rid of it. The DOE helps fund public schools and give free education to millions of people. A lot of the people that go to these public educations are minorities. Therefore, these schools will most likely have teachers lose their jobs because they can, like, the public teachers already get underpaid. One. Two, funding keeps declining from the DOE to go to the military and police. Now the DOE will be completely eliminated to give that funding to the military because they need more money. And now these people, where are they going to get the money for these public schools to pay these teachers to educate these students? And when they no longer have money, these teachers will lose their jobs. When the teachers are gone, who is going to teach these kids? These kids now have to be home. Oh, the low-income families that can't pay for their kids to go to a private school or an expensive charter school now have to do what? How are they going to educate their child? Oh, they had to homeschool their kid now. How are they going to do that if they have to go to work? Now they had to lose their job because they have to, once somebody has to stay home and educate their kid. And if they're single parents, how are they going to homeschool their child and go to work at the same time if they don't work from home? Also, at my job, because I work for a private school by grace. However, a lot of the kids that work in my school go through the DOE. So with the DOE gone, a lot of these parents will not be able to afford to have their kids go to our types of schools that I work at. Therefore, now these kids with disabilities will no longer have access to resources that they should already have for free. They should have these resources regardless of whether or not they make money. And now these parents will struggle to give their kids resources that they will need to help them thrive as individuals like everyone else should be able to. So that was disheartening enough. But then that also means less kids, less teachers, and I was just like, I'm not going to think about that. I'm going to just pray that my job will be secure and I will be fine. I couldn't go down that path because I was like, this is the wrong time to be a teacher now because, yeah. So, the financial stability of a lot of people, of millions of people, are at stake because of the DOE, just DOE in general. That's the first thing. Also, like, I recently saw a TikTok about, like, people talking about, like, tariffs and how, like, tariffs will make things to where, like, oh, like, we're gonna make manufacturing come back in America so we can make more of our own things. Things are already expensive when they come from other countries. Like sneakers, when they get made in other countries, they usually cost like $7 and they get charged like $100+ to make a profit. So imagine America making a product and then that's gonna be way more expensive because we're making it. So we're gonna be like, oh, this thing it took us $7, it took us $2 to make it, but we're gonna sell it for $300. So, tariffs are going to make things more expensive. The economy, inflation is already at an all-time high. It will go up even more. So, financial stability will not be there. Also, we're scared that he might take us out of NATO, which helps us be in agreement with other European countries. That will cause us to be in a global crisis with other countries because our trading affairs and just us being civil with other countries, oh, that's in danger. And the safety of like millions of people will be at risk because now racist people will think that it is okay to emphasize their racism and like to project it on other people. And yeah. And people see all this and don't see why we're like, we can't associate with you anymore because you're under the impression that he can do something good when all he's talked about is how bad he can be and how much damage he will cause. But for some reason, they're under the belief that this is not that bad, and that we're just making things up, and that Kamala isn't even that good. Like, and I think it's so sad that like people have family that voted for him, and they can no longer like talk to their family, or like they're like, oh my goodness, like Trump supporters see this as like, we just have a different opinion. Your different opinion is affecting my life to exist. That's not an opinion. Your opinion is that my life does not matter as much as yours. That's not what I'm saying. That's what your decision is saying. Therefore, that's what you're saying. When you vote for a person that outwardly shows their hatred for minorities, that shows that you are in support. You are an ally to a hater. Congratulations, you suck. So I cut ties with this person yesterday. I told them we're not cool. I cannot associate with you. I am very sad about the conversation we had on Wednesday. Therefore, this is a goodbye. And then I blocked the number, blocked their social media, and I was like, I'm done. And this was really hard for me to do because I have a history with this friend. I've known them for a long time, and we had a falling out like 6 years ago, which was their fault. It was on them. Then they came back a month ago, and we just became friends again, and it was good. And I was like, this is great. And then that happened, and I was like, this sucks. This sucks that like you just came back in my life just for you to do stuff like that. And mind you, they were already doing some BS the first 2 weeks we were being friends. They were already like doing stupid stuff, and then I was like, you know what? We hashed it out, we talked it out, and it was fine. Then this happened. I was like, this is strike 3. I can't. This is no. And the reason why I cut ties with this person is because the main thing was that I knew good and well that I could not tell my friends, my best friends, that this man voted for Trump. Because if I told them that, they will look at me funny and be like, okay, so why are you still friends with them? And I would be like, history, girl. So I knew that if I was like, if I stay friends with them, I can't even tell any of my friends that we had this conversation because I'll have to keep it to myself. And you don't have to tell your friends everything, but when you think about why you keep things from your friends, and it's because you know they would clock you for it, you got to check yourself for that. So I was like, I have to keep that in mind. I have to keep that in mind. And then I just, the main thing was that like I said, like, you know, I'm supposed to be your best friend. I'm supposed to be someone that you claim to care about because a month ago you were sitting here begging for me to talk to you, to give you a chance for you to explain yourself and plead for my forgiveness. And then a month later you vote for a man that doesn't even want me, that doesn't even like me. And then I sit here and I tell you, hey, this man doesn't like me. I don't feel safe with this man being in office. And you want to sit there and say it's not that big of a deal, it's not that bad, or that like it's not going to be that bad, or it could be worse, or that other things matter more. Because this man literally said, oh, hey, like, yeah, women's rights, like, it does suck. Like, women should have rights. But, like, it's because of misogyny. That the man enhances, that the man literally portrays that he is himself. Like, yes, you are correct. It's about misogyny. This man is a misogynist. This man hates women. You are absolutely correct. And you voted for a man that is a part of the problem. And I feel like a lot of people do not understand that when you support a man that does these things, that means you agree with it. Because it's not like as if when he gets in office, you will try to correct him and be like, okay, we voted for you because of your economy policies, but what about women's rights? But what about this? It's not like as if y'all were going to try to clock him to make laws that would help the rights that you guys do not agree with, that you don't, oh, I don't agree when he says that type of stuff. Because the thing is, when Kamala, if she would have won, we would have been happy. But then be like, all right, great, now do what you say you was going to do. And also, all the other things you did, fix that. At least we would have clocked her for her mistakes. You guys don't even think he made any. And that's the difference. And it's just the blindness behind the wrong that this man has done. The ignorance. The ego. And when I told this person, I'm no longer friends with you, like, you know, this is my goodbye. I blocked their number. I didn't want to give them a chance to respond because I didn't want them to make me change my mind. So I was like, I have to stand my ground. I have to cut ties. I can't. I felt like I felt convicted having this person as a friend, to be quite honest. And I was like, because my morals are so strong. Because, you know, one thing about people with ADHD, they have rightful justice and they're like, we have to stand firm on our beliefs and this and that. And I was like, I cannot sit here and say that I have these morals. And then when it comes to me having to put my morals into action, I don't do it because, oh, but it's different. No, especially because it's a man. Because one thing women gonna do is fall for a man's flaws. And I could not do that. I had to stand my ground. I had to stand on business. I had to, because I had to stand on business. I just had to stand on business. And I was like, I cannot be your friend. I'm so sorry. Goodbye. And then they sent me a whole thing. I didn't read it. But at the end, they was like, oh, by the way, thanks for blocking me before they had a chance to reply to what you said. Like, I saw what's happening on social media, but I didn't think you would be like that. I had to giggle. I had to laugh. Because, boy, please. Because the way how I could have used your, like, this is when I was like, I had to laugh at this because this is actually comical that you're going to sit here and try to be like, I thought you were better than this. Babes, really? You want to sit here and talk about my character with your history? Okay. I had to laugh. Because I'm like, this man is not serious. This man's a joke. Because there's no way after the past month, the first 2 weeks of us being friends again, the stunts that you pulled, the history that you have, the lies that you told, the way how you ended our friendship the first time, and you want to sit here and say, you expected me to be better? Mm-hmm. I had to laugh because you're upset that I told you I can't be friends with you because I cannot be friends with someone that is that insensitive, that is that ignorant, and that supports someone that doesn't support me. And you were upset about that. And then you said, like, you expected me to hear that and still be friends with you and still be okay with you. When in that conversation, like I said, I lashed out. I let them have it. I was very hurt. And they couldn't see that. That's another thing. A lot of people that voted for Kamala, when they saw that Trump won, they were hurt. They were devastated. They were empty. And you guys don't see that. You guys sit there and say, oh, but like, I just have a different opinion than you. Don't take it this seriously. No. You saw how much this would hurt me and you chose to do it anyway. On top of that, during this conversation, there were 2 separate times when he tried to make me seem like I was being dramatic and try to gaslight me into believing that what I was saying wasn't true. I've had too much of a history of gaslighting and being called dramatic in my life for you to be doing that to me. Clock it, shut it down, because never do that stuff to me again. You will. No. We're not doing that. I refuse. So, yeah, this week was a week. Even without the election being in place, this week was a week because of my job. It was a lot of stuff's going on and ridiculous. On the plus side, I did get I applied for a promotion in my job and I got the promotion, so yay me. So that was the one good thing that happened this week, is that I got a job that I applied for. And yeah, this week was crazy, but I think the election is something that, like, I'm not looking forward to 2025. I'm not looking forward to next year. Like, I was talking about New Year's plans with my friends, but then I'm like, yo, bro, someone said we got 74 days until he's president. Bro. Like, I feel like when you see how much division a man causes in our country, you don't think to question that? You don't think to stop and think why? And it's just like, people will use facts and evidence of this man and say why he's a horrible human being. And that's not enough. That's not enough for you. And on top of that, that's not enough. And then when you sit there and say, oh yeah, like he is a bad person, it's not like as if they'll sit there and be like, oh yeah, like it does something, he does this, we need to tell him, we need to do this. No. It's not because if they have like plans to be like, oh, like I hope that like they change for the better. No. When Democrats were like, oh, let's vote for Kamala, they were still gonna clock her for being like, all right, that's where you're president now, now go do your job. Because when Joe won, we were like, okay, great, now do what you said you're gonna do and fix stuff. And when he was supporting the genocide, we were like, yo, what are you doing? Stop doing this. End the genocide. Like, stop it. Cease fire. Cease fire. And he was doing that. When Trump does stuff, y'all support it. Y'all say, yeah, he's not wrong. He's in the right. At least when our people do things wrong, we clock them for it. You guys see you people doing things wrong, and you said, the blind leading the blind. The blind leading the blind. Because be so for real. Be so for real. You guys are just like not caring. You guys are like, oh yeah, he's doing good. He ain't doing nothing wrong. Oh, he a convict. It's fine. But y'all make convicted felons not be able to have jobs. But when it comes to a white man, he could be president. Oh, and he's still on trial for other felonies. And they was like, oh, if he gets convicted and goes to prison, he'll just work from home. Work from home? He'll work from prison? I don't know if that's actually true, but people were saying that. And I'm like, because like at this point, I believe it. At this point, I believe it. He'll have Zoom meetings about, good morning, America. Hi, my fellow people. Like, be so for real. Ah! Guys. We are in survival mode once that man is in office. To all my people that we tried to all my Kamala voters, to all the people that are devastated by this election, I feel you. I feel you. I see you. I hear you. We are in this together. To my black woman, to my sisters, I feel you. I see you. I hear you. We are gonna get through it. We are gonna get through these 4 years. Oh my goodness. To my brothers, the ones that don't hate us. Hey, y'all, we gotta pull. To my black people, y'all, we gotta pull through. We gotta pull through and push. We gotta support each other. We gotta support other minorities. We gotta stop the racism. Stop the racism. Stop the colorism. Please, please, end colorism. End colorism. For the love of God, end colorism in the black community. Please, please. I'm begging and bleeding. Please, because this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It shouldn't be light skin versus dark skins. Please, please. As a light skin, I'm saying, please end it. Please, please end it. Please stop. Stop the colorism. We are all black. Please, end it. End the ridiculousness. Like, oh my gosh. Stop being racist with other races. Please, please. Just because they hate us doesn't mean we have to turn around and hate them. 2 wrongs don't make a right. You being stupid too. Like, please, 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 please. To the people that are scared about immigrations, I am so... all I can do is honestly pray. Because it's just like, what else can I do? Like, oh my gosh. So all my people that are in fear of deportation, I'm so sorry you have to like deal with this fear. I have like no words that I can express that can emphasize how sorry I am that that's a fear that you have to face. I have no words. I have no words. All we can do is pray. All we can do is pray and take action, obviously, in any way that you can. Take action to, like, just be together. Like, fight for what's right. Man, oh man. We're gonna be in tough times. We were with him for 4 years before. We could do it again. We just gotta fight stronger, because this man, he has it out for people now. Like, he has a vendetta. He's out to get people. He's trying to do some more damage than he did the first time. We gotta sit together. We gotta stay together. We gotta stay together. We gotta pray together. We really have to. All my Christians that voted for Kamala, y'all pray for this country, bro. For real, for real. Pray, pray, pray. Ask God for wisdom and discernment and ask him to cover. Like, oh, I just can't. Also, I will say, all the people that were saying, like, oh, I hope Florida has hurricanes. I hope these people, like all the red states, like, I hope they die. Y'all, the red states still have blue voters. Chill out. Chill out. Florida was trying to be blue. They were trying. Like, they were trying. Pennsylvania was trying to be blue too. They were trying. Not every, like, just because the state was red, it doesn't mean everyone's red. It just meant there were more red people than blue. There are still blue voters in every state. Just because they didn't win red, it doesn't mean the blue people don't exist. Also, let's be for real. If we're wishing bad intent on people because of who they voted for, you are no better than the Trump supporters. You are no better than them. Two wrongs don't make a right. However, when people are saying, I hope you get what you voted for, that ain't even hate. That's just the truth. I hope you get what you wanted. And I think I also said that to this person. I was like, I hope you get what you wanted. I hope you get your safety, your financial stability, and the global crisis that you think you're going to avoid. I hope you see that you never will get that. I hope you get it. I hope it's worth it. And even though I'm no longer friends with this person, I don't wish them bad intent. I don't wish them harm. I just wish that they progress in their life positively. Because at the end of the day, I am a Christian and I do believe in praying for your enemies and praying for people that you don't like. And I no longer associate with this person anymore, but I will still pray that they evolve in their life and progress. Because the whole purpose of educating people about about what's wrong and what's right is that way they can become better and they can be better people. And if you're wishing ill intent on these people, it's one thing to like say like you're gonna get what you deserve versus being like I hope you die. Chill out with the hope Florida gets a hurricane. There are blue voters in Florida. Chill out. Chill out. Please, respectfully. Yeah. I just had to make this video because I was just like, the election has been on my mind since Wednesday. It's been on my social media since Wednesday. And, yeah. We are in a time. We are in a time, and I have no words. I felt such a loss. Like, the Yankees losing the series, I almost cried. I'm not gonna lie. I was so sad. I was bummed when they lost. This is different. This is different. This is just devastating. I legit, like, when I can't. I can't believe it. I honestly can't believe it. And I feel like people were under the impression, I feel like also, like, we're under the impression that, like, I saw this meme that was like, oh, that like we thought that before the internet that the people like people being dumb was lack of access to information, and it's like, well, we found out that was wrong because people now have access to information to learn about things for free because the internet can give you all the information you really need at times, and that wasn't enough because people still are choosing to be ignorant and to not educate themselves or are not open to being educated by someone who's willing to educate them in a respectful and an enduring manner, and they're just like, ah. So, um, yeah, this is a tough time. If you are down, if you are sad about this election, it is a valid feeling. This election, rough and tough. I have never seen so many people say take a break from the internet more than on Wednesday. There was so many people being like, take time for yourself, get off social media if you need it, take a break from the world, go read a book, go touch some grass, go talk to loved ones, spend time with people you care about. I have never seen so many people collectively agree once again to just take care of yourself. Like, him winning the election tells people to take a mental health day. If that isn't the biggest red flag about a man being a president, I don't know what is. And I think also a lot of us, we're like losing hope for our country genuinely because we're like, there's no amount of education that you can provide these people that will change their minds. We're just like, there's nothing we can do. And I feel like people are feeling hopeless to the point where they're like, nothing I do will matter. Nothing I do will make a difference. My vote doesn't matter. What's the point? And I think a lot of people feel like that because they're like, we tried so, like it's crazy how hard we had to fight to tell people to care about someone existing just because they're a human. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, I just had to make a video talking about it because I was just like, I kept thinking about it and I was like, I just have to get this out. I have to get this out. And um yeah, this is a devastating time. And like, my prayer life with God, I would like to say it's pretty good. It got to get stronger now because um I'm praying that my job is not at risk, because as much and as crazy as my job is and how insane I go sometimes, I do want a job, and and also with the DOE, FAFSA, people that want to go to college, oh, financial aid, oh, forget about it. Shot. You're gonna have to get private loans, and those are even more expensive because they're not subsidized loans. They will collect a lot of interest, and it's just like people in lower and middle classes are going to be struggling to survive. And I saw people making jokes about, like, if I can't buy a house with like 7 raspberries and a penny, I'm gonna fight. My food better be free. My gas better be free. I'm like, yo, if I don't have a mansion within the next 4 years, I'm suing. I'm suing. I'm suing because I thought I was gonna get a house for free. Where's my and I think that's us trying to like make fun, make joke, have some laughter out of this craziness that we found out. Like, we're trying the best we can. Um and we just gotta survive. Once he's president, we just gotta survive for 4 years and just pray that we don't make the same mistake again with someone much worse. That's all I can say. Like, I just that's all I got. Um Take care of yourself, guys. Really, genuinely, honestly. If you vote for him, you made a choice. I hope you enjoy your choice. Um, um, to all the people that voted all the people that voted for blue and we didn't win, hang in there. Hang in there. Do the best you can to survive the next 4 years, and just pray that we don't go through this again. Yeah, that's it. I'm getting so many messages right now, and I'm just like, can I like make a video and like yell in peace, please? Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I have nothing else to say because I just feel like I'm just gonna be saying the same thing over and over again. And I feel like there's other points that I wanted to like say, but I think I just got the gist of it. Like, it's just we're hurting, and you guys can't see that, and I don't think you ever will if you can't see it now. So, yeah. Until my next video. Take care of yourselves. I don't feel like promoting any social media because I don't think that's appropriate right now. So, just take care of yourselves, guys. We are living in crazy, crazy times. Revelations, if you will. But no, we're living in crazy times. Well, I'm not saying no, we're not living in revelation times, but I'm saying no, we're living in crazy times. Crazy, crazy times. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go. Because I will just keep being like, yeah. 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 Yes. I'm done. Take care of yourselves, guys. Seriously. We need it. Self-care is more important now than it ever has been before.